Keep it raw, stay rad. What? I hope y'all have your love mugs. Good evening. It's Monday night, Journal Hookum. My favorite night, and I look forward to it, and I hope you all do as well. So tonight we have a little tea blend I concocted up earlier. It's a little citrusy, it's a little fennel, it's got gynostoma, horsetail, nettle root, stinging nettle tea, some pau d'arco, some other special blends in there. So it's always a good thing to have a nice warm cup of tea on a cool night because it got chilly tonight. And it's a little sticky on the side of my mug. I can feel it. Doo-doo. So you know it's all about the love, right? So, without further ado, I'm Lana. I'm tuning in from Clearwater, Florida. If this is your first time, welcome. Welcome to my humble abode. Monday Night Journal Hookum is basically where I open up a journal, and I opened up to a random day in my life when I was writing reflections, intentions, whatever was coming through. Whenever I start my day off, I have my journal nearby, whether it's on my iPhone and in my notes or on a piece of paper in a book, a journal book. And I write down what comes through during my meditation because whatever it is usually intended as a theme for the day, something to reflect upon for me. I see symbols and themes that all seem to always connect. It's all about embracing and being open to the possibilities and reflection within, going within, being mindful in the moment, creating moment to moment, momentum, because that's what happens when you're present in the moment. You create moments, momentum, right? And that's how we're supposed to float through life, is upon the wave of momentum, living in the moment, riding out that wave, right? And so, of course, the most important and easiest way to tune into this present moment right here, right now, is to breathe fully. Breathe deeply into your pelvic floor and expanding out through the belly, up through the diaphragm, up through the heart, up through the clavicle, and then exhaling, allowing it to slowly release down the way it started, right? What goes in must come out. So we're always expanding, opening up the lungs or contracting, exhaling the air at all times, right? Expansion, contraction, going within so you don't go without, so you can radiate out, right? Good evening, beautiful Lucy. How is everyone tonight? I hope you're all having an amazing motivational Monday and allowing yourself the presence, the time to come back to your center, your grounding, that space that you find the ease and the grace, the pauses between the breaths, especially during this time of the holiday season and all that is happening in the world. So remember, everyone, sharing is caring, so spread that love far and wide. Sprinkle a little love on that share button because you just never know whose life you're going to touch. And someone out there may need a little uplifting, a little inspiration, a little motivation on this Monday. You know, we can easily get caught up in the news. I'm aware that things are happening. In my heart, I hold the key to staying calm within the chaos. If I stay in my personal power, if I create the space to not go into the fear or anxiety of what is going on out there. So despite what the media would like you to jump on the train to, You are either a part of the problem or a part of the solution in all cases, and you choose. You can choose to jump on the fear bandwagon. That's not going to serve anyone. It's definitely not going to serve you. And you have to maintain a strong immune system, which requires a strong immune system, or requires a nervous system, and requires a strong connection of within to the breath, because the breath is the life force, the sustainer, the maintainer. And if we get into fear, we either hold the breath, oh my gosh, or we stifle it and we shorten it, we lessen it, we cut off our own life force. So whenever you see something is happening outside of yourself, go within, go back into your heart space, breathe in the prana, the life force, and remind yourself, I am here now in this moment right here with myself. To put yourself out in what's going on over there does not serve anyone. To hold that in your heart and just imagine the best case scenario, even if the worst is what is appearing on the surface. Hold in your heart space what the best case scenario is. Because when you contribute to the fear, you face it like, I need to be a part of it. You're actually creating it and allowing it to be bigger than it needs to be. And it's really easy to get caught up in all that stuff. But that doesn't serve. And so that's where we come back to the moment and reminding ourselves that, where am I? What do I need to know in this moment about myself? Connecting to your inner child. Your inner child will tell you, let's have a little fun. Let's get up and dance. You know, if you can feel it, you can heal it. But to attach to things outside of yourself will take you out of your personal power and will weaken your immune system, will weaken your personal power. It gives it away. And so, in my many years of working in high stress positions, whether it be in the Air Force or working for the government, I can tell you right now, being in that environment really taxed my nervous system, really taxed my adrenals, really taxed my breath. I was constantly on the go and stressed out, and it didn't serve me. And I was in the victimhood mode back then where, oh my gosh, I have to do this. You know, I have to live up to these expectations. Because if I don't, if, when I was not being as present and I needed to be for myself, I wasn't existing in the moment, nor was I exercising the self-care that I needed, right? You're only as strong for others as you are for yourself. Everything starts with self. So if I can't impart even the little bit of wisdom that I've acquired in my years, at least tap into your own personal breath. That's the one, if anybody ever takes anything away from me, I pray that you tune back in to your breath and recognize when you're holding it, when you're cutting it off, when it's stuck, for you to tap into it and just breathe fully, breathe that prana, that life force back into your life. You know, we want to breathe back into our lives, because how many of us are actually living fully right here, right now in this life, right? Yeah, right? Cheryl, looking back, you can see how far you've come. And you honor that past by being present in the moment with gratitude for all that you've amassed for wisdom and knowledge. And if you tuned into some of my previous journal hookums where I opened up a couple of the books, the idea that when we think, oh my gosh, that was bad, but it was really good. And that the more we embrace the gratitude for what is, we also need to also embrace the stuff that we may not have enjoyed and we may not have felt the most comfortable. So, I needed that little breath, right? So tell me in the comments where you're tuning in from. If you've been on my journaling hookums before, If you journal, hi Gemma, so good to see you, honey. I know some of you kind of miss me every once in a while. I may like vacillate between the hour. But I also want you to all know that when you're not here, I do hold you in my heart. So let me know in the comments if you already currently journal. Let me know if you have any suggestions or questions regarding journaling. Let me know where you are in the world and what it is that inspires and motivates you. What is your daily practice? Because not all of us have one. And it takes dedication and devotion to self and growth, right? In order to grow, we have to know where we're at. And if you don't know where you're at because you're not in the moment, you're not present in your physical body, you can't be able to grow without at least a little awareness, right? So, cheers up, bottoms up, or get your love mugs on, and we shall begin. Hi, Chalice. How are you? So, I wasn't sure what I was going to open up to, and then I realized I needed to go grab another journal. So, I'm just opening up to what appears to be 2013, December time frame. And so, let's see what I have a few entries I may go over all at once. December 26th, I was doing a lot of blogging before I started doing the videos, and before, I mean, I've been blogging for years, but it's hard to keep up. Sometimes these things come through, and I can't keep up with everything that comes through, so I'm like, it's easier for me to talk it out. That's why I do enjoy, and this medium, being able to share this online in real time, to me, is a total gift and a blessing. And being an IT background is, you know, I was a systems engineer. This to me, it can only get better. It can only get better. Technology still is awesome to me. And that's why I say it's the web of inclusion, and we're all here to connect, and it is a blessing. Even though there's a lot of stuff out there that may appear not so good, this is a blessing. So, on 26th of December, I wrote, be kind, be well, nurture yourself this holiday season. And funny enough, can't make this stuff up. I've had a cough for the past week. Cough equals attention. Do you recognize, witness what you do? How your body weakens? What leads up to sickness? Yes, I do. And so you can't make up this stuff that I wrote. So for me, and I expressed this the other day as well, I've been kind of burning midnight oil, pushing myself too hard. I have a slight lingering little bit of a headache at the moment, a little tension in my neck, a little tightness in my back. And for the past week, instead of going to sleep early or exercising the self-care that I know I need, I've been pushing it. Mostly because I get excited and I have a tendency to want to keep doing instead of just being like I'm supposed to, a human being, not a human doing. But see, this is my mind. This is what it sounds like out loud. let me cough this out first. That's my body telling me, by the way, hello, you keep this up, it's going to get deeper into your chest. Because I was the child that come my sophomore year in high school was when I had my first bout of strep throat, and I would get strep throat every single year. And it was mostly a suffocation, a suppression of not only self-expression, but also pushing myself and not listening to myself and my body and exercising self-care back then. And then as I got older, it turned into bronchitis. Because the more you push off and the more you ignore the signs that your body is giving you, your body will continually progress into worser stages. So it's just like every dis-ease has a natural progression. If you don't catch it here, it will go to the next one. So strep and bronchitis are very similar because one is up in here in the throat, but then when you start getting into the bronchial tubes, it's because you're just pushing and stuffing it down. Think about it. These are the physical manifestations of our body, and it just reacts to the mind. And so I know that. And so that means even though I'm supposed to be preparing to go to solstice this week, I do need to take some time, and I need to go to bed early tonight. But here's my mind for you. I'm going to try to recreate what really is going on in my mind at the same time, because it's a doozy, and I don't even know if I can keep up with it with my mouth. I have Hookum and gnocchi that I just started making tonight, which are in the dehydrator, by the way. And I still want to dehydrate and make up the kombucha fruit roll-ups that I've been wanting to make for a week. And then I went out and bought the frozen fruit that's in the freezer. And so that's sitting in the fridge waiting for me to prepare it. And when I throw that into the blender, and then I can lay it out on some of the sheets that are supposed to go in the dehydrator after the Hookum and gnocchi, which I'm probably not going to get to that tonight because the Hookum and gnocchi is going to take another 5 to 6 hours. On top of that, I've also got to brew kombucha this week, and I still have to do laundry, and I have to pull out the bins that have to go with me to solstice, and then I also have to pack. And I don't know about y'all, but when I travel, I like to clean the house before I leave, so that I come back to the house as if it's like coming back to a hotel. So that means changing the sheets on the bed. That means washing all the towels, washing my clothes before I get ready to go, because I don't even want to come home to a dirty hamper, because I do that before I leave. And then when I come back to a house that is like a hotel with the bed already made, fresh sheets on it. The towels are fresh and waiting for me in the bathtub for the bathtub or the bath shower. And then the only thing that goes in the hamper are the things I bring back from solstice. But wait a minute there. There's still more. This mind is still going. Oh, and I still need to call AT&T about that issue I still haven't gotten resolved, which I've called them 4 times already about. And I also need to call back my lawyer, which I did talk to them today briefly, but I left a message because she didn't answer the phone. I had spoken to her earlier, and she sent me an email, which I could respond to the email, but maybe that's not such a great idea because the email is not quite as direct as da-da-da-da-da. Then, on top of that, what else is it in the fridge I needed to make? Oh, I still need to make chocolates because I really need to have my chocolates. And I need some medicinals on my trip while I'm at solstice. On top of which, I also have some kratom I want to pack up because last year I had wanted to bring some, and I didn't have it. It didn't arrive until long after I was already at solstice. And I was really upset about that because a lot of my friends could have utilized it during solstice. And if you ever do white tantra, you understand what I'm talking about. Sitting down on your little butt on a spot, you never know how long you're going to be holding your arms up overhead, and if you're chanting or if you're doing a kriya, right? Because sometimes they're 31 minutes or 62 minutes, or maybe you're doing it for 2.5 hours. You just don't know. Oh, and I still need to, when I brew the kombucha, I have to brew the flavors, and I want to make sure I bring some kombucha on this trip when I go to winter solstice, because I always share my kombucha when I go on these trips, right? That's not even touching the surface of my head and my mind and all the stuff that runs through it. Can anybody else out there relate? If you can, let me know in the comments. Because that's just the craziness that goes through my head, and that's just a little bit of what's going on in my head right now. And I'm a little obsessive about cleanliness, and I'm a little bit attention deficit, whatever that ADHD thing is, an ADD. I joke with those labels. I don't actually subscribe to them. I just know how I like to multitask and get through so many different things. And I still got stuff that I have spices in my refrigerator. But you know what, Gemma? I don't have a problem with this because I meditate, and that has been my saving grace. That if I sit down on my mat, even if I only get 11 minutes, or even 5 minutes or 3 minutes, I know that sets me. And it's because I've been doing it for so long, and this over crazy thinking mind, because I'm also going, oh shoot, and I didn't even mention the part where I have spices in my kitchen that I have to take the bulk bags out and refill all of those, along with the herbs. And yeah, that's just a little tip of the iceberg. But you know, I know I'm not the only one. I'm just sharing this because I want y'all to know you're not alone if you got an overactive mind. And man, can't my mouth keep on going. And I know that. I'm from Massachusetts. I mean, I grew up in an environment where it was like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So I know to take it down a notch, to remind myself to breathe. Because if you spoke to me before, I might not be so calm, cool, and collected as some people may claim or think I am. Or maybe I'm just like off my rocker, I don't know. But I'm just being me because that's all I can be, and I can't suppress who I am anyway. So I know all these, I have a lot of wisdom in the form of applicable knowledge, but I also have a lot of information I'm still integrating into my own life. And even when I say, yes, I exercise self-care, I fall off my own wagon. My apple cart gets a little lopsided, right? It's all good. But see, I'm not going to beat myself up about it, because I know if I don't take the time to, number one, meditate, I pay later. If I don't take the time to go lay down and go to bed early, I pay later. And I did it all this weekend. And I did it all last weekend. And so therefore, I'm going, I'll feel a little off tonight. I'll tell you, I thought I had a chiropractor appointment. And when I showed up, I realized, somehow that's not right. And there's something wrong. Thank you, Laura. So I have to check my schedule, because apparently I didn't have a chiropractor appointment today. Maybe it's tomorrow. I'll find out tomorrow, right? Right? Tom needs to start journaling. Yeah, maybe. If you want. And take a journal and write down. Today I ate, and how did it make me feel? It's little things like that you can do. It doesn't have to be a journal. Oh, that's really sweet, a journaling group. And I put it out there, and I'm looking for how many people are interested in doing it, because I would graciously appreciate more feedback on those who want to do them. You know what though, journaling being doodles too, Laura, the beauty of doodling, and I do the same things too, where it's a creative outlet, and I feel like we all have a different way of expressing ourselves. Just like musicians, and we're all artists in our own ways. And so whether it's a doodle, whether it's a word, we have our own style when we write, right? And so it's really beautiful to be able to create a doodle, and it's your expression of who you are. And you're allowing your inner child to express yourselves, your younger self and current self, as one on that paper. And so whether it's someone who sings, and that just... right? I mean, I might not be the greatest singer, but I love to chant. I love to sing. And I'm working on it. I want to be able to sing a lot better. I want to enjoy my own voice a little bit more. And so just like, I can write. I love to write. I love to talk. I love to share. We all have to find our outlet. So yes, art in all mediums. And it could just be the form of your words and your speaking, right? Like poetry. Hello? And what we consider poetry in motion or in words is, like tomato, right? The Amrit Vela is the hours between, I think it's 3:45 and 7 a.m. And then also in the afternoon is also these windows when the sun is at 60 degrees of wherever you are on the planet, is when you can actually get that thinner veil to where you are connected to the source that all it is, and you can receive the better wisdom, the downloads as some people call them, or the channeling, whatever it is that you consider it. It's you expressing source through your words and your expression of being source, because we are all one, we are all divinely connected, and we're all individual expressions of the all that is, right? And so those are just little things, and things like taking a cold shower. It enlivens all of your cells. It brings the blood to the surface of the skin so that you can get more oxygen. And that oxygen is what heals and keeps you youthful, right? I really wanted to take a cold shower the other morning, and I was like, oh, no, because when it's cold in my house, too, at the same time, you really kind of want a little warmth with the cold. But it is very nourishing and healing to do that. And it will build your nervous system. and strengthen your immune system at the same time, despite what it may feel like as you step into it. But you can do 1 foot at a time, maybe splash a little bit here, splash a little there. It all takes your dedication, devotion, and just do it, right? Oh, awesome. Thank you for the feedback. So I also, where did I flip my book? So continuing on to what I wrote, because I was writing about some of my ideas, artistic creative expression, drawing, painting, and because I can do a lot of things. If I got a sewing machine, which my grandmother's sewing machine is up at my dad's, and I'm kind of like this close to wanting to go grab it. I can sew. I have done it in the past. I used to crochet. I used to knit when I was a child. I made my own sweaters. I made all sorts of stuff. And I also have these materials that I would like to turn them into bags. You know, like this is just me because I want to do everything. And that's just the nature of my mind who says, oh, I really want to do this and I really want to do that. And oh, let me just put this over here, which can turn into a little bit of hoarding, by the way. Fortunately, I'm overcoming a lot of that. You have no idea how much stuff I've already gotten rid of, even though it may not look like it in my house, although it does look a lot tidier than it was. So it's baby steps and honoring and being kind to yourself, right? So I wrote in here, I don't know if this came from Osho, but I wrote, corrupted minds. We judge those we consider less fortunate than us based on a comparison to our own circumstances. Feeling guilty when we should not assume they are less fortunate. At best, they are probably better off than us to be uncorrupted by our needs, attachments, and dependencies. Now, I don't remember exactly when I wrote that, but I totally remember having that insight that how often do we turn around and go, oh, you poor thing. Oh, those poor people. Oh, those poor starving kids in Africa. We're really, when we say stuff like that, like when we see someone and we get that sadness for them, it's really a projection of our own stuff, our own belief systems of what is comfortable to us upon somebody we don't know, their true inner nature, their true inner feeling, their own comfort levels or discomfort levels. So when we say, oh, it's really saying, oh my gosh, I couldn't feel myself being like that. What that really is a reflection of who we are, not them. Thinking that that they aren't doing so well, or that, you know, oh, those poor people because they don't have money like we do. They don't have our riches, what we consider riches, right? Doesn't mean that they're poor or they're in a worst case scenario compared to ours. But that's what we do. We're comparing and judging all the time. We're basically looking at the circumstances and thinking unconsciously and projecting on another level, thinking we're conscious and being compassionate or empathetic or what have you. What we're really being is very judgmental and noticing that, oh, on a deeper level, I couldn't see myself in their shoes, right? Yes, when you go to other countries and you see somebody living in a way that you couldn't actually live, all that is telling you about yourself, not about them. And it's our needs, it's our dependencies and attachments that we are projecting upon them. Like, I couldn't go without, you know, square meals or a house with all 4 walls and a roof. I couldn't sleep on a muddy floor. It's those little things that we take it for granted. We assume that everybody should have what we have because it makes us feel comfortable. When in reality, we don't know what is comfortable for another person, let alone, most of the times, we don't even know what makes us comfortable. We just know what is uncomfortable. So here comes my coughing again. So drinking water as well. You have to balance. Stay hydrated. I tell you, when I have my heat on in my house, it's like I need triple the amount of water. See, I just drank down about half of that. Isn't that crazy? So I had to turn my dehydrator off because I didn't want to make too much noise because, but Hookum and gnocchi, that's all I'm saying. Oh, gnocchi. Gnocchi, like knuckle. That's what gnocchi, that's what it means. Or some people call them dumplings. If you've never had gnocchi. These particular ones I made, they're just in dehydrator. They're not like the original Italian, but I tell you, they're going to be yummy because I made them the other night. Oh. Okay, so I digress. And then I wrote in here because I love the movie The Princess Bride. Can anybody else relate? I don't remember. It's that part where inconceivable, where he keeps saying inconceivable. And Montoya there, the one who insists on finding the guy with the 6 fingers that killed his father. I killed your father, are you prepared to die? Or you killed my father, prepared to die. He turned to the character and said, I don't think that word means what you think it does. And I said, in this reference, I said, regarding karma and our precondition and perceptions. People don't, there's this idea that we think we know what karma means. And we really don't. Like, karma and dharma. Now, dharma is living in your destiny. We talked about this in my Beyond Addiction program this weekend. Dharma is living in your destiny. And karma is kind of almost like throwing up the cards and letting them fall where they may. There's no guidance, no direction, just assuming that, oh, well, that's just your karma. Karma can be created and it can be washed away if you're living in your dharma. And dharma is your divine path, your soul's destiny, your soul's growth and journey. And a lot of times people think, oh, that's just karma. And they don't even know what the word means. And I get that. But, you don't know what you don't know until you know it, right? So, let's see. I wrote also, life is a practice. Practice makes perfect. How do you practice and are you consistent? Right? My own physical challenges, Candida versus Parasite, 40 days of Waheguru Kriya, I felt the shift. Bhakti meditation for women, celestial communication, Adi Shakti music, live Snadamkar, and manifestation. I write down certain things just because it also gets my mind going. So then I also wrote down some other mantras and some definitions like guru. People say, oh, a guru, right? Well, gu is darkness and ru is light. And the guru is the darkness and the light. And so again, if you've watched me before, I always discuss how this pendulum swings, the gu and the ru, but in between is the guru. So when one is out of balance, you recognize it. When you come to the other, you notice that you're out of balance again. But when you come to center, neither of them exist, but without each other, they wouldn't make the whole, right? Because the whole of who we are is the sum of all. So to be in true wholeness, we have to embrace the dark and the light, the inner guru within, and not go reaching for, oh, I can't choose this. So like the last Hookum I did, and I talked about how choosing this denies that. When you allow both just to be and embrace them as they are, now you're integrating. Now you're truly becoming whole again. You can't suppress and push away that which is also you. Recognize the other as you. When you look at another person, they're mirroring it back right to you, who you are. I am you, you are me. That's what makes us we, right? And we're truly meant to be. I know, I like the rhyme, can you tell? High five! What? I'm serious. We are not separate. Again, when I breathe, I'm breathing your exhale. When I exhale, you're breathing in the inhale of my exhale. It's such a divine cosmic experience, yet we have this mind that gets so wrapped in these preconceptions and, oh, we've been conditioned to think certain ways. The craziness is all up in here, and this doesn't even exist. What all that exists is really what's in the heart. And the heart and soul, peace is within. Otherwise, you got pieces all over the place outside of you, right? That was my extension cord falling on a box. Sorry about the noise. So I said, some say bringing the darkness into the light, but in essence, it's about finding the balance, merging, converging the darkness and the light, so neither is visible, neither. Because oneness has been achieved, they are one, and not neither, nor man, mind, or projection. So mantra also, here's another one. Mantra, man is the mind. Tra is the projection. It's a mind projection. So when we chant mantra, we're having a mental projection, but we're also keeping the mind occupied and busy. And it has a vibration, so when you chant, even if you don't know what it is, and it might poke and provoke you too, because it could get on your nerves. But that usually means it's stirring something up within you, right? I found over the years, I can't listen to certain music I used to love. It like hits a chord in my nervous system that it just throws me off, and I just have to move away from it. That's how sensitive I've become. And sometimes people will be annoyed by noises because their nervous system is not strong. So if you're hypersensitive to things around you, check in within yourself. You may not have a strong enough nervous system to take on what's going on. And that's where this Kundalini Yoga has transformed my life. Because I'm much more patient and aware of my surroundings. And now, okay, if something doesn't resonate, it's not feeling good, I have to go within, and I have to sit with it and go, okay, what's this bringing up? And a lot of times it's my nervous system is off. That means I'm not taking better care of myself. This weekend, we worked our nervous systems, let me tell you. Nervous systems, adrenals, kidneys, I mean, come on, we're all stressed out, right? So also I wrote in here, I wrote down some, well, I guess that is all I wrote. So I had also written some affirmations for 2014. I just said, what will you project for this new year? Intentions. What do you need to let go of? These were questions I was asking myself, right? Attachments, question mark, that no longer serve. I had a picture of a butterfly. Singing makes my heart happy, right? Even if I might not have the most beautiful voice, I don't care. If it makes me happy, why would I repress it or suppress it or not do it? I'm going to be me, right? And so I had this, it looks like an angelic butterfly that was pink wings and watercolor yellow antennae. Yeah. Butterflies have always been very significant in my life, right? And if you get the right music, Susie, right? It is healing. I listen to binaural beats and solfeggio music and mantra music, chanting all through the night, because it also elevates your vibration. It elevates your soul. It helps you heal, and it shifts you, so that when you wake up in the morning, it's usually on rare occasion after I'm listening to chanting all night that I would even wake up in a bad mood to begin with. And also the other day, I think it was a Friday night when I did the Shabad Kriya, where you sniff in, hold the breath, Satanama, 16 counts, which is 4 times. But it's like you've got to sniff in Satanama, focusing your nose at the tip of your nose, right? It's like you keep all these different things going, and then you exhale, Wahe Guru. Wahe one sniff out, Guru the second sniff. So I do that now, right now. I'm going to do the 40 days at least, right before I go to bed, and I do it for 15 minutes. And it's surprising, but it's very soothing, relaxing, and you get a really good deep sleep, which I slept so well, but I still need some more rest, right? I also wrote about my numerology and asked myself, where is the love? Why don't you love me back the way I love you? And it was about my dad and releasing those emotional attachments. And I wrote down some of my gift numbers and such. Element of revolution. It's about allowing the magic, the miracle to come in. My theme of manifesting and harnessing personal power to part the waters in all ways. Just a little thing I wrote, I guess. And so that was what I wrote there. I'm going to have to read what you wrote because, you know, sometimes I can't read all the comments, which really stinks. But I'm excited to read because I really love all the feedback. And I know, Nikki, you're doing some deep work within. So many blessings to you. My heart is feeling you. So I know you're doing the work and showing up for yourself. I mean, I know that it's hard in our minds because that's the mind that chooses those words, right? So I tend to try to readjust my verbiage, select the words that I choose to speak so that I'm not caught up in a pattern or a story, that it isn't that it's hard, it's just that thinking that makes it so, right? So instead of saying it's hard or it's difficult, I may use the word, you know, it's a bit of a challenge. How about that? It's a little bit of a challenge. Or I'm working on this. I'm growing through this. I'm growing with this. I'm owning it. I'm accepting it. I'm honoring and allowing it, right? Because it's all perfect. The only challenge is getting this mind to serve us and not to us serve it, right? Cheers, cheers. Get your love mugs on. And yes, we get enough interest, I will definitely start a journal group. Start messaging me or Tom or, you know, post on this video. Let me know. We can't serve until we hear that y'all are requesting it, because this is the purpose of the group, is to give you what you are requesting, okay? So let's see what Until Today says. Excuse me. It's a lot better. It just comes and goes. I just need to allow myself the rest that my body is requesting. Awesome, Susie. Thank you for your interest. We are definitely in the works of this. I know it's going to start, and maybe something we start in the new year. And yeah, that's actually probably a good idea. The new year would be ideal for most people. I think my body's telling me I'm getting sleepy again. And I got a good night's rest. I mean, I went to bed late, but I got up a little later too. But I still think I'm going to need another long, deep relaxation. So, here's where we're at on December 11th. Okay, I will know peace when I heal my need for external acceptance and recognition. There is a need that many people struggle with for a good portion of their lives. It is the need to receive or experience the acknowledgement and acceptance of others. Even when we are not aware that this is what we are doing, we equate these two things with being loved. To be loved is a basic human need. Beneath the need for acceptance and acknowledgement is the cry for self-love. Sometimes having someone else acknowledge you is far more satisfying than simply loving yourself. Perhaps it is because you really don't trust yourself of your own love or your own love. When you know in your heart of hearts that you are withholding love or forgiveness from someone else, your love will not be enough to satisfy you. Nobody needs to withhold love from themselves, right? When you withhold love from yourself, you're actually withholding love from others as well, which is why it is so crucial and important to work on cultivating that inner love for self, accepting, and just that inner child, I'm telling you, it just wants to know that you're still there, that you haven't forgotten or forsaken or abandoned that younger version of yourself at whatever ages you may feel you needed more attention, right? The principle at work in this experience is what you withhold from others will be withheld from you. It's the divine dance, you know. You have to move with the energies. When you withhold your love from someone in response to their actions, you're withholding acceptance. When you withhold acceptance, you will be driven to receive it. Isn't that an interesting dynamic? That which you deny, you actually don't allow to come in. You put up a wall and energy can't flow. And if you're withholding forgiveness for another, you're just keeping yourself stuck, and you're the one drinking the poison expecting the other one to die, right? Yeah. And so, every living being, regardless of their actions, deserves your love. Your love is an acknowledgement that regardless of their behavior, you recognize them to be a divine creation of God. The spirit of life knows when you're withholding acceptance. It also knows that you can never experience what you will never offer. What you don't extend to another, you can never receive. That's powerful. Think about that for a second. How does that sit with you? How does that touch your heart? That, oh my gosh, that which let's read that again. You will never experience the external acceptance you desire until you internally acknowledge your acceptance of another. You can never experience what you will not offer. So if you've grown up and you don't know what truly loving, what it feels to be loved, because we accept what we have only known into our lives. And a great example, if you're somebody who in your household may be screaming, or the physical, the verbal abuses, different forms of abuse, that's attention. And it's not necessarily a good form of love, but it could be the version of love that you accept from someone because that's all you know. You won't recognize something that you've never experienced, which is why it's so powerful. It's so hard, challenging for many people to break the cycle, because the fear of the unknown, because the mind wants to protect you. Oh no, we can't do that. We don't even know what it is. But you have to take those leaps of faith and allow yourself to experience something new. And it may be uncomfortable at first, but the more you step out of your comfort zone and exercise the courage, the vulnerability to try and be and do something completely new, you've just given yourself that beautiful opportunity for growth and to break a cycle. And y'all ever heard me say about it before, how when you step out of your comfort zone and step into the courage from that personal power center, you create your own reward system in the form of your body excreting happy hormones. That keeps you young in itself. It keeps your brain alive. You need to stimulate and do something different every single day, because that in itself is going to keep you alive. It's going to keep you vibrant. And the more you step out of your comfort zone and exercise that courage muscle, you become more courageous. Because you get that, the dopamine, the serotonin, the melatonin, the oxytocin. I always get that word a little mixed up because I'm not meaning the drug. Your body excretes all these happy hormones. And with that, it's like, ooh, I feel really, it's like when you give someone a hug. Never turn down a hug unless it's, a creepy hug. That's different. I've had to do that, by the way. Just saying. So until today, you may have been seeking acceptance that you have been withholding from someone else. Just for today, open your heart to someone you have shut out. It doesn't mean that they were right. It means you are willing to heal. Right? So her devotional affirmation at the bottom says, today I am devoted to opening my heart, to acknowledging and accepting that I have enough love to sustain myself and to offer to others. How beautiful is that? We can't extend to someone something we don't have, but if you extend something just as simple as forgiveness and love and acceptance, no matter where they're at, when you extend that, you're also allowing it to come back to you. So where attention goes, energy flows. If you're harboring resentment, you're harboring pain, fear, whatever it is you may have that's sitting and it's stagnant and stuck in you, the minute you release that and you open the door to the healing and the allowing yourself to let go of that, you're going to allow it for yourself to come back to you too. So if you open the door to love in all its forms, we're not talking about self-harm here, we're talking about being genuine, right? Be in the here and the now, right? So, I'm just going to see something real quick. So I hope you all enjoyed tonight. I'm feeling a little stuffy here. So I think we're going to end on this beautiful note and just let it all sit with y'all. If there's something that you feel, wow, I haven't thought about, maybe you got a little bit of an insight from all of this tonight where it's sitting with you, and now you can maybe journal and write down what comes up for you. Express what it is that, what are the sensations? See, I can't even speak. What are the sensations that arise in your physical body when you think about maybe somebody in particular that you have trouble forgiving? Sit with it and just, I like to say, place your left hand over your heart and your right hand on your belly and just go within and say, okay, what is it I need to know in this moment right here, right now? Ask your inner child, how are you doing? What is it I need to know? What do you want to communicate to me? Because your inner child is just as wise, if not wiser, than you could ever imagine being in this moment right here, right now. Because right here, right now, where you're at, is filtered through all your experiences and all the conditioning of your life. When your inner child, your youthful self, came into this world, it was a purity of knowing divinity, knowing love, being love. What most people consider naive isn't naive, it's knowing. It was all the external stuff that created the layers that need to now be peeled away and embraced every moment as just the experience you were meant to traverse in this life. You're an expression of the divine, of source, of God, whatever you want to call it. An individual. You are not just the drop in the ocean, you are the ocean. And so we're all serving, but we're all meant to be here through each experience and take away those golden nuggets and just be in it. Not trying to do it or make it happen. Just be, right? I don't know about you, but I just want to be happy and play. That's what I really came here to do. And have fun. There's fun in the play and fun in the joy of the just be. Express yourself. Express yourself. You got this, baby. There's many ways to be, but you be you, because that's the only way to be. Nobody else can do you. You do you, I be me, you be you, we be we, right? This is the beauty. And it's so true, William. God is everywhere, in every cell of our being. Even if it's non-tangible, it's just all pure, right? I like that, the pearls, or the pearls of wisdom. Yes, pearls are beautiful too. And those are beautiful vibrational pieces to work with. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. I hope you have an amazing evening. Please reach out to me more about the journaling and the group, because that's something I think that would be really beautiful after the first of the year. When we can consolidate, we can start out anew and fresh. You can get your new journals and just be like, ooh, let's open up and start again. And what golden nuggets come through for you, okay? So you know how the drill goes. Keep it raw, stay rad. I love you. What?